Hi, I would like to work question 32 from section 14. There are a few questions on this problem and I want to make sure that everyone understands the correct way to solve it. So this problem is referring to a golf ball is being projected upward from ground level at an initial velocity of 112 feet per second. The height of a projectile can be modeled by S of t, which is equal to negative 16t squared plus v sub 0 t plus s sub 0, where t is time in seconds, s sub 0 is the initial height in feet, and v sub 0 is the initial velocity in feet per second. And we're to find how high will the ball be after 2 seconds, the maximum height the ball reaches, and when the ball will reach the ground. So for this particular problem, we first need to convert the problem into the particular formula that describes the height of this golf ball. So we know that S of t is equal to negative 16t squared plus v sub 0 t. Well, v sub 0 is initial velocity in feet per second, and that was told to us to be 112 feet per second, so we have 112 t, plus s sub 0, but s sub 0 is the initial height in feet. But because the ball was projected from ground level, the height is 0 feet, so we actually don't need to add on a constant there. So then we want to find how high will the ball be after 2 seconds. That just means to evaluate that function when t is 2. So we would have negative 16 times 2 squared plus 112 times 2. We can plug that into the calculator, but it would be negative 16 times 4 plus 224. So what is that? Negative 64 plus 224. And that is 160. So the ball will be 160 feet after 2 seconds. What is the maximum height the ball reaches? Very important when you have a quadratic function and you're asked to find the maximum or minimum. That should always be a clue that you need to find the vertex. So the vertex, because this is not in the vertex form, we want to use the vertex formula. So the vertex formula is x equals, but in this case our input variable is t, so t is equal to negative b divided by 2 times a. So that would be negative 112 divided by 2 times negative 16. So negative 112 divided by negative 32. When we divide those values, we get 3.5. Now, keep in mind, 3.5 is not the maximum height. 3.5 represents the number of seconds it takes to get to the maximum height. So to find the maximum height the ball reaches, we have to plug the 3.5 back into that formula. So that would be negative 16 times 3.5 squared plus 112 times 3.5. And when we perform that calculation, we get 196. So that tells us that the ball is going to reach the maximum height of 196 feet. If it asked when does it reach it, then that would be in 3.5 seconds. Then part C asks us to find when will the ball reach the ground. So think about this. A ball is starting on the ground, it's going to this maximum height, and then it's got to come back down. So we need to find out when is it going to hit the ground again. Well, the ground is a height of 0, so we're going to set the function negative 116t squared plus 112t equal to 0. We can see if 16 is a common factor of those two numbers. And 16 does divide 112, so we can actually factor out a common factor of negative 16t. And when we do that, we get t minus 7 is equal to 0. So then we set each of those factors equal to 0. So either negative 16t equals 0 or t minus 7 equals 0. Dividing the first one by negative 16 gives us t equals 0, which was our starting point. Then we can add 7 to get t is equal to 7. So it's going to take 7 seconds for the ball to come back to the ground. So let me know if you have any questions on that particular problem. Thank you.